Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. Today I'm going to talk about our final project, aka our observation project. I got so many questions from you. Some of you guys were just very concerned about what was up with final project, and I was just saying that guys, just chill, be calm and wait. And I'm gonna create a video and I'm gonna just dedicate a whole week, a lecture session for your final project because it is very important. It's gonna be 20% of your final grade, which means like you almost cannot pass the class without submitting your final project. So I really need you to just take this session very necessary and pay attention. And if you have any questions, like always, you can just ask me about the question. So let's begin. I'm gonna share, well, no, here, my PowerPoint, and we're gonna talk step by step about what we should do for the final project. So the way I'm going to explain final project, it's going to be based on two big steps. Number one going to be, I'm going to take you through different options that we have and the steps that we should take. And the next step going to be, I'm going to show you some examples from my previous classes. So this way you would know what should you do and you're going to be prepared, hopefully. So basically, you're gonna have two options, option number one, option number two, obviously. And you're gonna follow the steps that I'm gonna give you for each option. So this way, you would know that what to do. Option number one gonna be Piaget. You already know that, we already talked about that. We know that Piaget actually did so many experiments on his own children. His sample size, it wasn't that much big, and we talked about that. We said that it was one of the limitation of his study. But this time, I'm gonna ask you guys to be Piaget, to test children, and just understand how they're gonna do conservation tasks for number, mass, and weight. For this project, you definitely need a child, and the child should be between age 4 to 12. It's just better to have a kid between age 5 to probably 10. The result can be more interesting, but if you don't have it, that is fine. The main reason that I'm gonna do this lecture 1 week before Thanksgiving, because I knew that you guys have enough time to hang out with your family or just dig a little and just see if you would have any sort of family member, relatives, friends with children, so you could just, reach out and ask them if they could just borrow their kids for some testing for like a minute or like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It just depends. The experiment can be between like 15 minutes till like 2 hours. It's just totally up to you. So you're gonna read this part, actually, like you're gonna read this part, you know that, and you're gonna pay attention to it. But what you need to do here is just you gonna go for only one option here. You're gonna either go for conservation of number or just liquid or mass. And you're gonna test the kid for seeing that if the kid can understand the whole idea concept here or not. For example, for one of them, which is conservation of the mass actually, you literally need two equal balls. I mean, clay or Play-Doh. I mean, Play-Doh is just very easy, so go for that. And for example, you want to follow the exact same steps. Um, in the beginning, you're gonna literally show the kids and ask them some clarifying questions to just make sure the kid is understanding you correctly. For example, you're gonna cut the Play-Doh in half, two exactly equal balls, and you're gonna ask them that, hey, is there the same amount of play in each of these balls? they're gonna say yes or no. You have to make them understand that these two balls are exactly equal and identical in mass. Then you can go ahead and follow the other parts of the experiment. And of course, okay, let me just go back. Of course, you can just, be kind of creative and use a language that is just more appealing for kids. For example, here, you can just say that, oh, for example, this Play-Doh is a pancake. Do you actually feel like we do have the same amount of pancake or not? And just, have that kind of lingo with the kid to just make the experiment interesting. So make sure you're gonna read each part step by step, and you're gonna follow the criteria of the experiment. Another one is conservation of number, in which you're gonna have, for example, 14 pennies or coin in general, and you're gonna do the different steps of these experiments to just make sure the kid can understand the concept of conservation of number. Then come weight. Again, it is just kind of similar as before, and you're gonna actually read each step and try to follow it. Oh, one important point that I always ask my students is at the beginning of the experiment, just introduce yourself, just try to just be kind and understanding toward the kid. And at the end, tell them, hey, thank you. And if you can just provide some sort of gift for them, like a chocolate, if their parents actually okay with that, please do that, and give them a toy, a chocolate, or something that, make the whole experiment an experience more pleasant for them. Like they would just like doing that again and again with someone else. That is like something that we're gonna do in research in general. We want children have good experience with our research. There is a scoring criteria, but the judge here is you. You're gonna try to answer some specific questions and judge if the kid can literally conserve the idea of number, mass, or what was that? Liquid for this experiment. Okay, I guess I said everything for here. So let's just move on and talk about the other part of the experiment. So once you did that, oh, I wanted to say this. So in the beginning of the experiment, for children, you have to fill out a consent form, in which, since children, they are under 18, their parents actually, they have to sign that part for you. Then you're going to be allowed to just continue with the experiment. For your final project, you have to submit that form on a college. So this way, I will just understand that you obtain that consent form from parents of the kids. During the experiment, hopefully you're gonna have a clipboard or a notebook for yourself. It can be also iPad. I'm totally fine with that, because like honestly, I haven't touched any paper recently. I'm just working with my iPad, my computer all the time. So that is fine if you're gonna do that too. But long story short, sorry, I'm just trying to just, break my chocolate. In the middle of your experiment, you can just make some notes, like careful notes, and just make sure you're gonna observe everything during your experiment. If you can see something that's just very interesting and can just add up to your experiment's value, please write them down. Whatever you're gonna write during experiment, or even after watching video and just analyze your study. I'm gonna talk about video soon. But after finishing your notes, if you would remember something, try to just add them to your documentation or that note. I need to just submit that part too. At the end of the day, you're gonna create a video. The video should be 2 minutes. Don't do like 4 minutes. Don't do 1 minute. We don't like that. Try to just stick with that period that I mentioned. It's okay if you are 15 seconds more than 2 minutes. I'm okay with that, but don't overdo. Try to summarize the whole idea of your experiment in the video and follow the criteria that I'm gonna say. Like I said, it has to be less than 2 minutes. The video gonna have a page or preview page, I mean first page or preview page, and it has to be something like that, developmental psychology, professor's name, and Georgia State University. It does have more, I'm gonna tell you. So you're gonna have a preview page, then you're gonna start with some template language saying that I'm Nicole, I'm, for example, a senior student at Georgia State, and today I'm gonna do option 1, which is about XYZ. I will use this. This is the kid. Her name is, for example, Jack, and you're gonna go on. And while you are doing that, you have to mention kid's name. Sorry, kid's age. Sorry. If the kid doesn't feel comfortable to just, disclose their name, that is fine, but age is necessary. Gender is necessary too, I mean biological gender. And you're going to talk about the experiment, the procedure that you're actually going through, and at the end you're going to talk about the result and conclusion of your study.